Hi everyone, my name is Natalie Flores, and today I'm going to be talking a little bit about epigenetics. I chose this topic to do for the final because of the fact that we touched so little of it during the semester, and I found it to be a pretty fascinating topic, so I wanted to go ahead and see what the heck I could find out about it and share with you guys. So, let's go. Okay, so what is epigenetics? Epigenetics is the study of inherited changes in gene function that occur without changing your DNA. The genome is the complete set of DNA in a cell, and the epigenome is the set of instructions that interact with your DNA. Epigenomes. Epigenomes lie above the genomes. Epigenomes tells the genomes where and how to work. They're sort of like tags or markers that tell your genomes what and how to express themselves. The epigenetic tags tell the genes to turn themselves on or turn themselves off. And this all happens without changing the DNA code. The epigenomes regulate how genes behave. Epigenetics and science. Science is now uncovering what plays in our genetic score, and it appears this performance can change dramatically between generations without alteration to the DNA sequence. The field of epigenetics seeks to determine how genomes' functions are affected by mechanisms that regulate the way genes are processed. Epigenetic factors, both spectral patterns such as arrangements of DNA around the histone proteins, and biochemical tagging. The environment we live in has a huge impact on the way our epigenomes change. Because our environment changes all the time, our epigenetic changes throughout our lifetimes will vary. Sometimes environmental changes do in fact change and form the epigenomes. Some examples of the environmental changes that can alter these epigenomes are pregnancy, puberty, diet, physical activity, exposures to toxins, perhaps if you smoke cigarettes, perhaps somebody's gone through lots of trauma or is under severe stress. All these changes will in fact alter the epigenomes. Genetics and identical twins. I wanted to go ahead and talk a little bit about this just briefly because of the fact that during the weeks we did speak about genetics. We did touch on specifically about identical twins and how epigenetics affects the twins. So with that being said, when each twin is still in the womb, each embryo have the same epigenomes and the same genomes. But as the embryos develop, the cells become different types, such as bone, muscle, and skin. As each cell type specializes, epigenetic tags activate and silence specific genes, leading the cells to specialize even further. Therefore, each cell type gradually takes on a unique epigenetic profile. Identical twins and early years. I mentioned earlier how the environmental changes can alter our epigenomes, but with the early stages of the lives of twins, most oftentimes they do share the same environment because they are so little and they're infants at this time. So their epigenetic genomes will in fact remain very similar throughout this stage. Twins in their later years, as the twins get older, their environmental changes tend to differ. So an end result of that would be that the genomes, again, they will remain the same. However, the signals from the environment will activate and sometimes silence different epigenomes in their genes during this time. So twins in their later stages of years may in fact have some altering changes in their DNA. Perhaps one twin has a horrible diet and the other one is a health buff. Their physical activity plays highly on this. Exposure to toxins, again, one may smoke, one may not. Stress, one may have a very stressful job, the other may be a stay-at-home mom. All these factors will in fact change how our epigenetics affects us and our gene function. So the end result, as far as twins go, is by the time the twins are well into their adulthood, their epigenomes, thus their gene expressions, are very much different. And this results in each twin causing them to be very unique and special. Although they may continue to look the same on the outside, their characteristics, their traits, all that good stuff is in fact very, very different and altered by whatever lifestyle they chose to live. So, you know, they may actually pass down good or bad epigenetics information down to their own children or grandchildren. Scientists are still claiming that that is what's happening, and that's what appears to be found with the epigenetic information. You know, back in when my grandmother was a young girl, we saw fewer people that had diabetes, autoimmune disorders, and cancer, and now it's just popping up like crazy. So, you know, maybe there is some genuine facts to this. It's quite fascinating. So to sum things up in a nutshell, I just want to reiterate the fact that the DNA contains the instruction for building all parts of the body. But the DNA is only half of the story. The DNA in our bodies are wrapped around proteins called histones. Both DNA and histones are covered with chemical tags. This second layer of structure is in fact called epigenomes. The epigenome shapes the physical structure of the genomes. It kind of, if you look at it in terms of a computer, the genome is the hard drive, and the epigenomes are the software telling the genomes how and what to do. You know, when the genes become tightly wrapped, they've also become inactive, so they are turned off, which of course makes them unreadable. When the epigenome are relaxed, the active genes make them easily accessible to read, so they're turned on. Different sets of genes are active in different cell types. The DNA code remains fixed for life. That's something that will absolutely never change. But the epigenomes are what's being very flexible and what is going to in fact change. So the epigenetic tags react to the signals of the outside world, such as, like I said, a horrible diet, stressed out job, smoking cigarettes. The epigenomes adjust specific genes in response to our rapidly changing environment. So, with that being said, this is pretty much what I came up with my little exploration in the epigenetic world. I'm sure there's a lot more information out there. I just wanted to touch briefly on what I learned. I wanted to pass it down to you folks. I hope this was interesting for you. It was an interesting topic for me, and it was a great semester, and thanks for listening.